So just the other day, my fiance, my stepson, and myself, we took a little trip down to Micro Center, which is about a 2.5-hour drive, not so local. We were there to pick up a monitor for my stepson and just to replace a TV, an older TV that he has, so we can do some gaming. Along that, I was gonna pick up a case, possibly pick up a case for one of my ITX motherboards. Instead, I really didn't like any cases there. But of course, my fiance found one that she liked, and I'm gonna put the live mixer motherboard in here, and she likes the RGB, so that's what she's gonna get. Right here is what we got, is a NZXT H9 FLOW, and this is a ATX case. ATX, micro ATX, and ITX can fit in this, not the eATX. This is the case. I just want to kind of do an overview of it, not like a full in-depth review, but just kind of go over it, check it out, and see what we got, what comes with it, and what kind of panels we could take off, what kind of airflow it has and filtration for the filters and all that, and just kind of see what it's about. Maybe it's something you'll like, but we're going to be doing a build on this come another video or two. The focus of this video is on this, so let's get to it. As we were in Micro Center and looking at this case, I did go ahead and look at Amazon prices, and it was about $160. We got this and picked it up for $130. It was on sale. All the plastic is still on it. It does have the front and side tempered glass if you are looking for something like that. It's a pretty decent size mid case. We can see it does come with 4 fans. They're non-RGB. I do believe you can get this in an RGB configuration. Of course, you're going to be paying a little bit more, but we got 3 going down the side here, and those are set up for intake, and then we got 1 on the rear here set up for exhaust. They are, of course, NZXT fans. Those are going to be actually coming out when I do the build. But anyway, like I said, it's an ATX, micro ATX, and ITX form factor for your motherboard that you can put in this. And on top, well, actually, let's start with the bottom. So you can put 3 more fans. Looks like you put either 3 120 millimeter fans or 2 140 millimeter fans, and you can set those up. Now, we will get into the filters and stuff like that, but I just wanted to cover the fan configuration. You can put a 360 millimeter rad down on the bottom, and you can also put a 360 on the top, and of course you can put the smaller ones, your 280s. You can put 120 on the back, but I don't know many people that do that. And also you could put it right here. Now this back, you can only put 120 millimeter fans. You can either put 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, or 3 fans, or your 360 millimeter rad, or 280, or whatever you want, 240. And on the top, if I remember right, it's identical to the bottom. So that is your 360 on top, or smaller. You can put 3 120 millimeter fans or 2 140 millimeter fans. Forgive me if I'm missing a little something there, but anyway, on the back is only 120 millimeter fan. That is it for your exhaust fan. But let's get this thing going here. I'll go around the back side here. And we can see our cutout for our power supply is actually up higher instead of traditionally going this way down on the lower end. Now, I don't mind this, but I kind of wish this was down here, but hey, what are you gonna do? They had their reasonings for it, and that's what they did. And we can see all of our cutouts for GPU or any other accessories for PCIe slots that you can put there. Now, this right here that you can't see, it's just inside here. That is, well, we'll see it around the back, but you can see that it can come out. And basically what that is, it's just a 3.5 inch hard drives that you can put in there. You can put up to 2. And this can support, so look, it could support 2 hard drives in the back. It can also support up to 4 2.5 inch SSDs or mechanical hard drives, but don't mess around with mechanical hard drives anymore, please. Unless you need massive storage, maybe occupy that with a 3.5 or something, but don't do any of the small 2.5 mechanical hard drives at all in a system like this. It's got fairly good cable management in the back. We'll get around to that in a minute, but I do want to kind of show you on top here. without breaking this thing. So we have our power button right here, and we have 1, 2, 3.0 USB 3.0 that is. And so they're 5 gigabits per second. And then you have a Type-C port here. And I don't know if that's a 5 gigabit or a 10 or a 20. And then of course we do have our audio and mic input output right there. Or input, I should say. And it's an output, right? Yeah, input for the mic, output for the headphones. We'll start with taking this off. I will come around the front. This only has, for this front tempered glass, it only has one captive screw, nothing on the bottom. And it has a little piece that you can grab a hold of right here. And this thing tips out forward. After you get that done, tip it out forward and it will rest there. But now you just pick straight up. And you can see right down here, there's little nubs. Trying to let that focus. There you go. Those are the little nubs that it rests on. Rests on 3 of those. Now, if this front glass does come off, it does not come off easily. I don't know how that would come off, and we're not going to bother trying to do anything with that. I'm not even going to take another look at it. But this top also does come off. You can see around back here that we do have a little recessed spot you can get your fingers under. And it just leaves the knockouts and leaves the actual button, the press part, but it's all up there. And I'll get you a little view here. So, like I said, we got those installed, and also these have quick capture. Well, not so quick, but these come off so you can, these are in there really tight. I'm trying to get it so I can show you. Let me get a screwdriver. Okay, I got it by hand, just barely. So this looks like this just pops out. There we go. And now you can you can take this out and kind of put your rad right on it and orient this how you want. It looks like this possibly could do a push-pull configuration. You can put fans on top, the radiator on the bottom with fans. And it did get a little bit of, that's just removing the screw. I just wanted to show you that when I removed this, that's why it was so difficult to come out. I just grabbing a hold of paint or something. And this is what the top looks like. And you see a very large cutout here for the back of the motherboard. However, this right here is where your power supply is going to sit. So you got to be mindful that you have to, when you're putting your AIO pump on, with the bracket that goes on the motherboard, it has to go on before your motherboard goes on. Now, sort of traditionally, I like to put the bracket on first, but it's nice when it's like this and you can reach around the back and kind of hold everything, because when the motherboard's sitting down on the table, sometimes it can be more difficult. But anyway, put the motherboard in, then put your bracket on, put the AIO in, then put your power supply in, if you're gonna do it that way. And again, down here, you can see all this. You can also, right here, if we start looking at some of the filters, that is a very large removable filter. You can also see right up here, we do have some straps. This will utilize if you need to run some cabling along here to kind of hide the cable. There's a little channel in here and they provide you with some straps. And we'll get this thing turned around here. And again, this one on the back side of the case or the side of the case, it just has one captive screw and it comes off the same way as the front panel does, just like that. But look at this. This whole entire thing is an actual screen or a filter. So you'd have to pry this out. I don't know exactly how this comes out, but I'm sure you could get this out if you really had to. It looks like it. Oh, okay. Yep. So you just pull it over a little bit and then pop it out. But I don't need to take it out, so we're going to leave it in. And back here, now I have not taken this out, but we do have a box full of stuff. We have all of our cables from up here on our I/O. We have, like I said, a box full of stuff. These two screws should come out. We'll take a look at that. Here's your caddy or your drive tray for your 3.5-inch mechanical hard drives. And you can just take this captive screw out again. This will slide up. You can take this completely out. or leave it in there if you don't have many cables. But if you have a lot of RGB going and you need the room for some of the modules and stuff that got to go in here, I'd remove it. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's see if we can get this opened up. And these are not captive, so these screws do come out. Basically, right here it says remove screws before forcing SSD bracket open. So this is a bracket. Just wants you to remove the screws, I guess, so you don't bend this thing. So this whole thing swivels open. Look at that. So if you had 1, 2, 3, 4 SSDs, you can slide them in here, screw them in, and then your cables are going to come out one of the sides. I suppose it doesn't even matter which side, whichever side is more convenient for your cabling. Maybe there's a specific side, but right now that's magnetic also. And this looks like it can pop out. Yep, it can pop out, and you can take this right off if you really don't like it. Again, get our box of stuff here. All right, so down here you can see we do have a whole bunch of ways to tie down cables all throughout here. There's nothing here, which that's fine because all of your fan cabling, let's see if we can show this. It has holes for all of your fans, all your cabling to come out, wherever you need it to come out. See in the box here, let's see what we get. It's pretty much the standard stuff, zip ties, and yeah, we get some zip ties. It's never enough usually, but we do get all these screws. So we get some, it's like power supply screws, an extra standoff, and some other captive screw. Oh, you know what that is? I'll bet you that's a little tool to put that standoff in. That's probably what it is, or to take the standoff out. Yeah, so anyway, we get fan screws. So any one of these fans, all of these screws, it gives you a whole bunch extra because you can put a lot more fans in it. And of course we get motherboard screws, and we get the screws for all your SSDs if you were to mount them in here or any other place. All right, so this looks like a neat feature I just saw. So this has 2 more captive screws right here. It looks like you can possibly take out this whole fan assembly to also mount. Yep, that's what it's for. So although I can't take it out, but this will, I say it'll come out. Oh, it's got another captive screw right here. I didn't see where it was actually mounted, so, oh, that's not captive, just an FYI. Not that it matters that much, but this whole thing will pull out right like this, and you can work on it. That I kind of like. One of the last things that I do want to mention about this that I have seen, and this is not coming from experience, but from what I've seen out there, is the distance between here and being able to put like a decent sized GPU in here. You're limited in the room. So when your GPU or your graphics card comes out and your cables are on the front of the GPU and they turn down to go down here and, you know, out here somewhere, the glass panel may possibly push on those cables, causing a little bit of torque on the cables. So just be aware of that. And maybe you want to go with a vertical GPU mount here and deal with that. I'm sure somehow you can put a vertical mount in here. I don't know if you can, but that's something you'll just have to look up or just be mindful of. One thing that I have noticed with this NZXT is these captive screws are a little tougher than compared to, let's just say, Corsair. I have like 3 or 4 Corsair cases, and they're just not quite as difficult to screw in and out. And I could have gotten a bad one, you know, but it seems like all of these seem just a little tougher than what I'm used to. So just to give you guys a little sneak peek, this is the motherboard that's going to be going in there. I think this is going to look so good, and she loves purple, so I think that's going to look really, really nice. And we're going to get lit up with some RGB, and then away she goes. So this front panel is a little tight, I've noticed. This is only the second time I've put this on, but you really have to push down on it and then make sure that glass clears this top portion. Just make sure it clears it. Well, overall, I don't think this is a bad case. It's, you know, I haven't worked in it, so we're gonna see how it goes when I build this new computer for her. It's going to be a 12th gen motherboard with a 12th gen CPU in it, and it's perfectly fine. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes with the build and what the quality's like and how I'm assembling, and you know, I may get some better feel for it as I'm putting it together, so stay tuned for that video. But that's gonna wrap this thing up. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Feel free to subscribe. Hit that little bell icon next to the subscription button to get notified for any future videos that I do post. And please, please, please hit that thumbs up to show your support, and most of all, to help, if there is any kind of algorithm, just to help it out for YouTube to get some of my videos out there. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, take care.